Looking around the world, where is the most worthy city to buy property today? Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. Why? In 2018, Phnom Penh has become the top 1 city of Global House Price Index and the top 1 city of Overseas Property Investment Return Index. Why has Southeast Asian cities increased in the rankings? What is going on in the global real estate industry? How can investors seize the opportunity? Nice TV, Fortune Express will invite Mr. Rupert Hoogewerf, Chairman and Chief Researcher of Hurun Report, and Mr. Michael Wang, Chairman of R&F Properties Cambodia, one of the most famous real estate brands in the world. Top 1 city, Phnom Penh. Top 1 dialogue. Today, 9 p.m. only on Nice TV.
Singapore house prices have been rising for a long time, and Bangkok, of course, has shown strong growth. Beijing, Shenzhen, Shanghai, in 10 years have basically gone up by 10 times. The city of the moment, if you like, is Phnom Penh. You're all very lucky to be there.
We are the part of it, and I am looking forward to the future development of the city in Phnom Penh.
Welcome to Fortune Express special Top 1 City Phnom Penh. I'm Visna, your host. Our online guest is the chairman of Hurun Report in Shanghai, China, Mr. Rupert Hoogewerf, and our guest here is Mr. Michael Wang, chairman of the R&F Properties Cambodia. Thank you both.
According to Hurun Report on the Global Rich List, which has been released in 2018, what is the high net worth individual? Exactly this people classification is generally qualified for separately managed investment accounts and is a millionaire. Nowadays, Asian countries have many high net worth individuals and are the safe currency and hotspot for investment. Mr. Rupert, who is the researcher of a high net worth individual, think the current climate that he understands is the investor is looking for a safe currency and the real estate has become the preferred destination of investment for them. Michael Wang, the chairman of the R&F Properties Cambodia, said, "We get to know more about Southeast Asia as the emerging market that brings lots of development opportunity. So if high net worth individuals are able to reach out to other countries, their investment option could be expanded." Tonight, Mr. Rupert Hoogewerf, chairman and chief researcher of the Hurun Report, Mr. Michael Wang, chairman of the R&F Properties Cambodia, will continue to discuss on the global asset allocation.
Okay, let's connect to Mr. Rupert. We noticed that this list is targeting a global property for high net worth people. Mr. Rupert, how do you define the high net worth people? What is the distribution of high net worth people in the world?
Well, this list is targeted high net worth family or the high net worth investor. So that's who we're targeting with this list. And so as such, we've been choosing cities that tend to look at for investment purposes. So that's why we just had 1 city in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. We didn't put Sihanoukville on there, but we should probably also factor in other cities in the region, in Asian countries. But we've just been mainly choosing the primary destination at the moment. So the high net worth investors, they're living in the big cities. Number 1, far and away, is Beijing. So if you're a Cambodian real estate developer, you want to target the Beijing to have the biggest number of high net worth investors, followed by Shanghai, Shenzhen. I mean, those are the big 3, and then possibly Guangzhou, and then you go to the other cities as well. The key thing that makes our list possibly different to there's other lists out there in the world, in America, in the UK, is that the UK one seems to be targeting UK investors. The American one targets American investors. So they choose their portfolio of cities based on the preferred destinations of Americans. So you might have a lot of Caribbean countries in there. You might have a lot of countries, that traditionally the American economy has had a big impact on. Whereas what we're targeting are those preferred countries and cities that the Chinese high net worth investor is actually looking at the moment.
Hurun Report released its Global Property Return on Investment 2018. Phnom Penh, Cambodia, as a global emerging real estate market, saw its return on investment rise up to 29.4%. It is ahead of second place Las Vegas. In third place, San Jose cities in America. For return on investment in Asian countries, Manila is ranked 23rd place. Singapore ranked 31st place. And Thailand ranked 11th place. Meanwhile, Phnom Penh, with its rental yields of 6.5%, ranked in the top 4 according to Hurun report, top 10 cities with rental rates 2018.
Okay, Rupert. So what are the characteristics of high net worth people in investment and financial management? Why do they like to invest in real estate, especially in global asset allocation?
It's a very good question because for most people, when we think of doing investments, it's equities and real estate. But number one over the last 10 years has been real estate. It's more reliable as such. And also I think people can touch it, and that gives them a sense of true ownership of it. So I think real estate has been the preferred destination, investment of choice of certainly the high net worth investor. But then there's a second factor, is that in China, a lot of the real estate that people buy is leasehold from the government. It comes with a 70-year leasehold, whereas in Cambodia, you can buy the freehold. And so again, that's something that is highly attractive, and it gives them a sense of being able to do wealth preservation. So for a lot of the high net worth investors that I meet, what they're looking to do internationally is actually have almost a nest egg. So they want a safe investment. So they don't want to put too much money overseas necessarily. So just the amount that they've got there, they're looking to put it into quite a safe asset class. And I think real estate is something that everybody can understand. And then I think, again, sorry to go back to the Cambodian advantage is level. It's not like with Thailand or Philippines or Vietnam, where the relationship has been much more hotter and colder depending on the year. And the stability of the relationship with Cambodia, I think, is another factor that gives it a sense of security, that gives a very strong sense of security to the high net worth investor. But basically, all around the world, the number one investment choice is real estate for this high net worth investor, much more so than equities and then fixed income or gold or anything like that. It's even more than Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I think it is real estate is number one.
The next question is for Michael. What do you think of the global allocation of high net worth individuals?
Putting all the investment in the one single country is similar is putting all egg in the basket, which is nothing but luck trying that the economic of the single countries they invested with always turn to the better and never going downwards. Therefore, we think if the high net worth people is able to reach out of other countries, their investment option could be expanded and also the potential risk of any investment value to be lowered. At the same time, investing in the real estate industry is pretty stable. That is the reason why and support to attract a lot of foreign investors.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. And what do you think of more and more international investors coming to Southeast Asia and Phnom Penh to invest in real estate?
Compared to Japan and South Korea, Europe, and American, real estate in South Area Asia show a great advantage that a total price and relatively small, while the IOI is quite high. And being supported by the ongoing positive economic development, the risk investing real estate market is very low. Furthermore, Cambodia has very friendly policies toward foreigners and foreign companies, as well as the property here is the US dollars asset. Just make any investment of the real estate here are more appealing.
Rupert, you've been researching on the high net worth people in China and India. According to the economic development trend of ASEAN's country, how do you evaluate the growth of high net worth people in ASEAN countries?
Well, the average age of a Chinese high net worth investor is really young, especially when you compare it to what we traditionally looked at in Europe and America. It's probably 15 years younger. So the average millionaire, if you like, in China is probably only 38 years old. The average ultra high net worth, which would be somebody who's perhaps got, say, 10, 20 million US dollars, is only 42, 43 years old today. So those are really, really young. It's a very young group. And this young group is very dynamic. And as such, has got a lot of energy and wants to get a return on their investment. They're not just looking to stash it away. I think if you're an American or a Western European with the same amount of money, because you are 15 years older, say in America or Europe, you'd be, let's say, as an ultra high net worth, you'd be maybe late 50s, possibly 60. Your whole investment strategy would be different. You'd be more conservative. But the Chinese investor, being much younger, has a more aggressive investment attitude, and as such, I think that's reflected in more active to look for new opportunities. And so that's how we see it. If you compare with the Asian countries' high net worth, well, again, you have to split, in my opinion, into developing countries, and then you have to take possibly Singapore out of it, because it is a more mature and therefore it will be older high net worth. But in the younger economies of some of the more dynamic countries, the average age of the new generation is actually quite young. By the way, we have one person on the Hurun Global Rich List who comes from Cambodia. It's a guy called Lip Kong Chen from Nagacorp, who's worth 3.9 billion US dollars, which ranks him at number 575 on the Hurun Global Rich List. We only found one guy who could make the Hurun Global Rich List from Cambodia, but I'm sure there are many more dollar billionaires out there, but just we haven't had a chance to find them yet. So perhaps some of your readers or listeners can listen to this and then make recommendations of people that we might have missed and to our global rich list as such.
Mr. Rupert, you have witnessed the growth of Chinese economy and the layout of Indian economy. What do you think of the future development of Cambodia and Southeast Asia?
I think Cambodia and Southeast Asia have got a huge geographical advantage vis-a-vis the Chinese high net worth investor. A lot of Chinese businesses, not just individuals, but businesses, to try and expand their footprint overseas. And so the number one choice of the first port of destination, if you like, will be, I think, somewhere like Cambodia. So I think in that sense, I see a lot of opportunity and a lot of demand coming from. And I think the biggest issue is going to be the social side in Cambodia and Phnom Penh, because if you have such fast house price growth, and not just in the main cities, but also in Sinukville and some of these other places, that is something that's going to sort of be a double-edged sword for those who are looking to buy into the real estate. Certainly, if you already own, and I'm sure, Visnan, you already own 1 or 2 properties, then you're fine. But for those who don't own the property yet and they want to come into the market, they've just seen the price has gone up by 20%, and it might well go up again 20% next year. And that's actually very, very challenging socially as well. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. And I imagine I would expect to find the local government policies to try and address this. But again, I think we have to also factor in, it's not just that we're looking at, but it's also land. So I think that there are those two trends. But I see a huge demand. I do not see it diminishing. In fact, I think the demand is so strong, and it's being kept. It's like I feel that demand is a bit like a saucepan with water in it.
Let's watch a video clip.
Why is Phnom Penh economy growing so fast? Cambodia is the 6th fastest growing economy in the world, with a yearly growth rate of around 7% over the last 2 decades. There are 4 important sectors to help push Cambodia's economy. which are the tourism industry, the construction, agriculture, and the garment industry. Cambodia government is endeavoring to become an upper middle income country by 2030 and a high income country by 2050. Construction plays an important role in this country, while the development of real estate booms almost every year, especially in Phnom Penh, the capital city of Cambodia. Phnom Penh is a fascinating place with many high-rising buildings, five-star hotels, shopping malls, luxury apartments, and towering buildings. According to the World Population Reviews, Phnom Penh's 2019 population is now estimated to be more than 2.2 million. In 1950, the population of Phnom Penh was 364,000. The population has grown by 235,404 since 2015, which represents a 3.16% annual change. The report predicts the population of Phnom Penh will be more than 3 million in 2030. If we just focus on construction, the Council of Development of Cambodia approved around 1,000 projects worth more than 23 billion US dollars between 2013 to 2017. According to the Ministry of Land, Urban Planning and Construction's 2018 annual report, a total of 2,867 projects worth more than 5.22 billion US dollars were approved this year, in comparison to 6.42 billion dollars US spent last year. The rate has dropped 18.66%. Meanwhile, the tourism industry has contributed to the steady growth of Cambodia's economy. In 2018, Cambodia welcomed a total of 6.2 million international tourists. Chinese were the largest number of international tourists at 2 million. The figure has made Cambodia the 7th most visited country by international tourists in 2018. In response to the growing number of tourists, the Cambodian government plans to build new airports to make it easier for tourists to enter the country. With 7 million foreign visitors this year and 12 million tourists expected to enter by 2025, a significant increase in the number of tourists has helped Cambodia increase direct flights between ASEAN and other Asian countries, including China. As a result of a strong economic growth, both the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank predict Cambodia's economy will grow by an average of 7% in 2019. With its strong garment exports, tourism industry, macroeconomic stability, low-cost labor, and investment incentives.
Welcome back. Michael, when did the R&F Properties enter the Cambodian market?
R&F Growth Cambodia was established in the 2017. In the middle of the 2018, the first project, an RF city, was unveiled. But actually, we have been prepared for the 4 years. In response to the One Belt, One Road policy, R&F entered Cambodia as earlier as 2014. R&F is in the enterprise with the special aspect and be extraordinarily prudent to the city development, the market, and our investors. We believe that entering a country or the city is not only about bringing in the own projects and the products, but also building the future with the enterprise value, called prosperity with the local market, and establish a long-term development.
Thank you very much, Michael. What do you think of the Cambodian market after a 4-year research?
During these 4 more years, R&F conducted a detailed survey of all aspects of the residential need of the Cambodia and the Phnom Penh. We found the population of the Phnom Penh go rapidly, about 3 million last year, of which there are around 200,000 foreigners who brought a huge house demand. especially for higher quality apartment, while the townhouse constructed in the past far from meeting and the demand for the aspect in the residential quantity and the quality. Based on the detailed understanding of the market in the 2018, R&F launched two high-end apartment projects, R&F City and R&F Glory. These two projects have more than 7,000 units in total. Both of them are currently the largest apartment community in Phnom Penh, which I hope what we are doing, what the city needs. In addition, for R&F itself to build a company and a brand in the new city, we have invested tons of the efforts of the time beforehand. We have made a long-term preparation in the earlier stage, which help us development smoothly after the establishment of the company, and the speed of the project's construction also goes faster with the quality ensured.
Within that, clearly, traditionally we've looked at Singapore as the first destination, but the Singapore house prices have been rising for a long time, and they're already at a very high basis. Whereas I think Phnom Penh has actually has shown very strong growth just recently. Whereas the overall base is still very cheap compared to some of the neighboring countries, and I think that's one of the reasons that if you put in 100 renminbi or $100 and to buy something in Cambodia, you're probably going to see a very high rate of return on your investment. And I think it's now the turn of Cambodia to be an Asian tiger. I think the city of the moment, if you like, is Phnom Penh. You're all very lucky to be there, and I hope that you've taken this good opportunity and appreciate that this is a 1 in 100-year opportunity, because it's very rare in the cycle of a mature economy to see house prices rise at sort of more than 10%. It's extremely rare. I think Cambodia is in the right place at the right time. Whereas in Cambodia you can buy the freehold. And so again, that's something that is highly attractive, and it gives them a sense of being able to do wealth preservation. A lot of investors are now looking to see where they can replicate this, where they can buy good assets at cheap prices. And I think Cambodia as such is one of these choices. That is something that's going to sort of be a double-edged sword for those who are looking to buy into the real estate. Certainly if you already own, and I'm sure Visnan, you already own 1 or 2 properties, then you're fine. But for those who don't own the property yet and they want to come into the market, they've just seen the price has gone up by 20%, and it might well go up again 20% next year. And that's actually very, very challenging socially as well. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. Cambodia today in 2018, 2019 is perhaps a once in 100-year investment opportunity.
I believe that Phnom Penh is the top ranking is not by accident. It shows exactly Cambodia's political and economic prosperity in the recent years. This is expect that the Cambodia's GDP will continue to increase at the rate of around 7% of a long time. We are looking forward to the future in Phnom Penh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rupert Hoogewerf and Mr. Michael Wang, again for being in our program. Thanks again to our audiences for picturing about the future of the Phnom Penh with us. You are very welcome to leave a message on our official Facebook page if you have any comments or ideas we would like to see and hear your views on the future Phnom Penh and Cambodia. Thanks again. Goodbye.